So like I said, the givingness of spirit, living generously. Okay, so where did I get that from? Okay, so those of you who know me know that I am constantly wearing those t-shirts. They're so comfortable. The cotton is so soft. Those t-shirts from Thriving. I mean, from the volunteer stuff. And I just started thinking about it. I was like, yeah, what does it mean to live generously? You know, like, what is that about? And I've taken to wearing these shirts, and those of you who have received them have talked about how comfortable they are. And I liken it to, yeah, when you're comfortable, like not in a sedentary, not living out loud kind of way, when you're in a living well kind of way, in a comfortable way, don't you feel good? That's what those t-shirts remind me of. But living generously, it's about living full, giving of your spirit, your wholeness. You know, there's like this framework where it can be about, you know, sharing your labor, where it can be about having some influence, where it can be about volunteering, where it can be about the energy that you give to yourself. Yeah, then obviously, you know, some donations and things like that. But when I think of living generously, and then you tell me in the chat what you think living generously is about, or how that shows up in your life when somebody tells you, be generous, live generously. You know, share with me. I'd love to read it. But it's about embracing a lifestyle of there's always space for giving. There's always space for expressing. And our giving, remember how I always say, there are many aspects and many ways that we can give. Sharing labor, okay? Are you a talented, skilled person? Do you know a craft? Do you know that you can share that with people? You can share it with people in terms of helping somebody to know how it is that you do what you do. Or if there's somebody who's in need of what you do, then you can kind of be a benefit and, you know, and share it with them in a way where maybe you don't have to give full price, you know, or whatever the case may be. Did you know that you can barter talent or craft? Okay. I've been lately talking about in terms of being generous. Generous doesn't necessarily have to do with money, generosity. So you can barter with your craft, okay? All right? You can mentor someone in what it is you're good at, and you can be the mentee in what it is somebody else is good at. So I just want you to be open to that. You know, I talk a lot, you know, this whole thing about giving time. How about our elderly neighbors? How about our elderly family members? You know, sitting with them, doing something with them, taking care of a task for them. You know, this is a way of living generously. If you are a person who calls yourself a Christian, if you are a person who calls yourself believing in some sort of God, if you are a person who calls yourself believing in some sort of higher power, one of the big aspects of all of these is selflessness and generosity. So, where's that space for you to be generous to someone else in your life? If you've ever felt a crunch, okay, a financial crunch, a soul crunch, you want to know the biggest and fastest way to move beyond it? It is to do something for someone else. It is to give space, time, energy, money to someone else, because it immediately shows you, hey, you're not depleted. You do have something. I was thinking about that when I was like, oh, I want to do this thing. But I was like, I don't want to pay for this particular thing. Not that I don't want it, but I just didn't feel like what the cost was. But I was like, but there's another way for me to get this. There's another way for me to have this. And so when I sat still, I just thought about the feeling of being in that moment, having that experience, appreciating it, seeing it, smelling it, the views, the light, all of it. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times God keeps showing up for me in ways that I didn't expect. So I'm just wanting to remind us, like, these are things that we can do, you know, to enhance our lives. We can enhance the generosity for ourselves. When is the last time you were generous to yourself, for yourself, about yourself? You know, appreciating you and all you do, and how you move. Having a deep understanding and compassion from when you're, being really, really productive, and other times when you just laid out. That's kind of how I was feeling today. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to go live. Like, I'm not feeling bad or anything, but I've had a productive day. I could just really sit here and watch this new season of Stranger Things. So being generous is the givingness of spirit, your open-heartedness, your open-handedness, okay? When I talked about, volunteering time, not just this time of year to do something for somebody else, but all times a year. Like you make it a part of your life, like you make work a part of your life, like you make exercise a part of your life. You have opportunity to make being kind and giving a part of who you are. So right now, of course, there are many programs and many organizations, they're saying, hey, give us some money, but you can also give them some time. I was saying too, for me being like a small business, and for others of us who might be business, referrals, just speaking a kind word to somebody about somebody, an experience like that means a lot. That's being generous with your compliments, that is a real thing, and I appreciate it. And they're probably not aware, but to whoever has ever referred me and to whoever has ever given me a glowing review, I'm so grateful and so thankful, because I love what I do. So living generously is also about living full out loud for what you believe in, okay? So if you're a house head, if you're a God person, if you're a Jesus freak, it's living out loud for what matters to you, bold with no withhold, because then you shine in that particular aspect. So like I was saying, how does living generous show up in your life? What does that mean for you? What can you do for yourself or for somebody else, Giving a ride. Oh, that listening ear. Sometimes when people just need to get something off their chest, just be in that space. You can always give hugs. Always give hugs. Some of the best hugs are from little people. Oh, even though my nephew isn't, giving me big, strong hugs, he is giving me some hugs. So I appreciate that. So hugs, okay? When is the last time you gave a warm, love-filled hug? And when is the last time you let yourself receive a hug that someone gave you? Now, I know we're in a special time where, we got to give those side hugs, We don't want to, be offensive or want to be mindful of, people and being in their space. But if you have permission, give that hug that's just like, man, I miss you, I love you, I appreciate you, you everything in a bag of chips. Because I know when I receive those types of hugs, it makes all the difference in the world. It just makes me feel so good, And when I think about being generous, being bountiful, being benevolent, and see, I can't say the word I'm about to say, benevolent, and it's benevolent. Being benevolent. I always talk about my benevolent spirit guides, meaning that I have, ancestors surrounding me who only have my best interest at heart, who want to see me thrive and succeed. Where in your life do you have benevolent souls, either here or beyond the veil? Are you listening when they tell you gentle things? Do you have your heart open and your ear open? Have you ever been wanting to be, I'm going to say monetarily generous, and something made you stop short? Like, I can't give that, because I might put myself in a bad way. I might create some kind of crunch for me. I want to let you know, you don't get that push for no reason. You get that push because you do have that which you want to give, and you have even more beyond that. So just listen to your intuition. Listen to that gentle sound in your heart that is expressing that it wants to do, that it wants to give, that it wants to act. And trust that spirit, that's your spirit. When we are in that divine flow, we can receive more and more. So I just want us to think about that. Living generously. Living, not existing. Okay, I'm going to go to that. Living. Waking up knowing that, ooh, I feel the tingle in my toes. To me, living is about having electric moments. Not necessarily moments that are always full of, rah, rah, rah. Although for me, that's a lot. But electric moments can also be quiet moments. It's just simply about being in tune to essence, in tune to spirit. So first, that is what is living. Then generously, big, forward, open, expansive, okay? This is a space that we've been given. We get to be free. The song just came out. We get to be free in our generosity. We get to be free in expressing everything for ourselves and for other people. Listen, I know sometimes it can feel like, I don't have anything to give. I don't know how to do anything. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I know sometimes they say in church, oh, give $1, give $5. You can give prayer. You can give remembering who you are and who everyone around you is. You can recognize the oneness that you are living in, and you can bask in the glow of all the gifts that you've been given. So generosity is also about receiving and acknowledging what is here for you, what you are, and what world has been created for you to thrive, to live that electric feeling that I talk about, right? So generosity of spirit. I remember I used to work with, I can't call her name right now, but it was she was always smiling. I'm talking about like for real. I don't care if it was 7 o'clock in the morning. Ooh, I can't believe there was a time I had to be somewhere awake at 7 a.m. But 7 o'clock in the morning, during the afternoon, when everybody was leaving, just a beam of sunlight. And I remember one time when I was upset, and she just comforted me, and it was just like, yeah, these things may happen, but I can still be okay. She had a givingness of spirit, a generosity of her spirit, right? How many of you have encountered someone like that, where they just, something about them, you just feel comfortable around. Something about them, their energy is just love. And that's what this generosity is about. Love. Giving it, being it, allowing it, feeling it, receiving it. I can't get enough of talking about love. So when I say live generously, I can also take that I to O and say love generously. Love with no withhold. Love with no condition. Love with, I'm all in. Not, I'm kind of in. I got one toe in. I got one finger in. Whatever the case may be. No. I'm only going to, show them this much kindness and show them this much affection because, I don't know what their agenda is. Don't worry about their agenda. Be concerned with your agenda. Your agenda to love freely, to love fully, to be out loud in what it is that you believe. So if you say that you are a person who believes in God, spirit, source, creator, then you know the energy that you are called to bring, You know the energy that you're called to bring. So we love thy neighbor, okay? And we also are generous. I know it says somewhere in Proverbs 11, I'm not going to quote it, I don't want to mess it up, that we who give, we prosper, okay? And we who refresh, we'll get refreshed, all right? And that was my take on it. So don't come back and say you said it all wrong, because you know what my heart means. But that's important. So now I'm going to talk about the financial aspect. It can be, you know, thousands of dollars. It can be hundreds of dollars. It can be a few dollars. It can be coins. You know, right now at the grocery store, they're rounding up the coins for one of our favorite charities, I believe, United Way. So there's always something that you can do. You can demonstrate your generosity in all the ways. In all the ways. I remember when I used to be a hospice, I don't know what the job title was. Anyway, I was in charge of the volunteers. Okay. Oh yeah, I was a volunteer coordinator. One of the things that we did, and it wasn't just when I worked at hospice, because I took that idea to other places. For those people who live in nursing homes, you know, or facilities, I would have my volunteers, my kids, you know, make holiday cards and birthday cards. It's the little things. It doesn't have to be what you might deem a lot, you know? There are these people right now in St. Louis, I think it's Cash Out STL and Cash Stash STL. Baby, they give away money. And I think one of them today or a few days ago recently gave away a car. You know, I think they get, you know, support from other people. So if you're like called or have this idea or inkling to do something, I invite you all, you know, let's all get into some random acts of kindness. You know, that's on my list. Some random acts of kindness. You know, those words, you know, like pay it forward. The more we allow and express and give, the more we get to receive. But we're not doing it in order to receive something. In fact, I want to point out, don't do something with the expectation of getting anything in return. You do something because it is the call on your heart. You do something because Spirit is nudging you. You do something because you know it's the right, appropriate love thing to do. That's why we give. We give not out of obligation. We give because we're just pulled to express the loving givingness of Spirit. However that looks, however it looks, you know. So I know sometimes I'll go around on, you know, TikTok, and I'll pass through rooms that people, I don't necessarily, you know them or have spent a lot of time with them, you know, but I'll dish out, you know, what I can, simply because I'm honoring another content creator, you know. So what are some ways when you think about that, I could be a little generous, you know? Maybe it's your compliments. Maybe you make a point tomorrow, you know, when you get to work, or maybe even with your family, you make a point. I'm going to give everybody a compliment. That is going to be amazing. You know, now you don't have to go all crazy with it too big, because somebody will be like, okay, they're being real complimentary. I'm scared. Maybe don't pick the person who, you don't normally talk to, because that would even make me look at you like, uh-oh, I'm scared. But the people who you normally interact with, yeah. Now, that person who you don't normally interact with, you know, maybe just make sure that when you're around them, you soften. You allow love to be the essence of you. And so then they can pick up on that feeling. So then when it's time to compliment them, they'll be able to receive it, yes? What I was talking about, you know, it's like sometimes people are leery of accepting something good. And I think that's for a few reasons, because either they've been burned a lot, they're not trusting, or who it's coming from. So we have a responsibility to be even keeled with what we put out in the world, so then it can be believed. So I want us to live generously, you know, giving of our time, giving of our hearts, giving of our love, also giving it to ourselves, appreciation, you know what I'm saying? Just let yourself be who God intended you to be. Stop cutting yourself short. Stop cutting yourself off. I see you, and I know you, and I can say it because I've done it. So this is your invitation. This is your reminder. Live generously, live out loud, live full for what you believe in. Give some space and time to other people and things you can do, words you can say, activities that you can coordinate, you know, whatever it is, a ride, a coin, cooking a meal for someone, helping all of the people now who are helping unhoused, prepare things, for those who are unhoused. Yeah. Give yourself love every single day. Every single day, declare who you are in spirit. Declare your wholeness, your brightness. Do it every single day. Every single day. Be generous. Live generously. And I'm grateful to Thrive and for giving me those t-shirts. And then I get to pass them out and spread them out for different activities. I love it. So being generous, having a heart full of love. Have you shown yourself some love lately? Come on now. What have you done? What have you expressed? Did you forgive yourself for some act you did or did not do? Yeah, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up. We got enough of that going on in the world. We don't need that. Being generous with kindness to yourself. Y'all, we are the biggest. If it's anybody who does anything to us, we do the most to ourselves. We jack ourselves up the most. We discount ourselves the most. We belittle ourselves the most, So be generous with your love and compassion for you. That will help facilitate being generous and compassionate to other people. You can do it. I believe in you. Living a generous life is about allowing. It's a giving and receiving, boys, but it's more about an allowing of all the good of God, all the good of spirit to be active in your everyday experience, So I want to be genuine. I want to be generous. I want to be genuine and generous. See? Okay, so so here's what keeps happening. I keep doing this and not eating dinner first. I'm hungry, my words. I gotta stop that. I really gotta stop. I gotta make sure I eat dinner first, but it's okay. I want to be generous with my time, This is something that I feel like, I love. And when I was talking about, bartering, with your talents, with somebody else. I'm bartering with my talent of, giving, talking, sharing music and receiving, an energy of love, from the ethers. For those of you who send me good energy, who have a joy for me and for everyone, who comes through. Yeah. Ooh, this is that song called Grace. Ooh, God's grace is absolutely generous. Yes. Well, I gotta write that down. Because I feel that. It feels so good to know that God's grace is always here. That's the givingness of spirit. Always here, always present, always around. Always knowing, always active. The one power, the one presence. For whatever you believe. So we're going to align with divine love. We're going to align with that part of us that, it's like that kid, the kids, when they just want to run up to you and they just want to give you, everything. They have a new toy. They want to show it and give it to you. They have a potato chip. They want to show it and give it to you. Seep into that energy. That love energy, that kindness energy, that thoughtful energy. Being generous, being benevolent, allowing the bountifulness of spirit to be yours. Right now, I'm just appreciating, feeling spirit, There's so much wonder that is always happening in the world. So much wonder always happening around us. You know, you're invited to be attuned to it. Possibility. Infinite possibility. Infinite generosity. Yes. So feel the presence of spirit. Just allow yourself to feel good. That's what we're allowed. Generosity of feeling good, okay? Who said you had to go 60% of your day in a rough mood and only 40%, you know, in feeling good? And that's for some people. I know some people it seems like they're longer, like 80 to 90% in feeling some kind of way. I'm going to say, I'm giving you permission to be 100% in joy, to be 100% in generosity, to be 100% in love. Yes. Okay? I said it. I clapped it, and it is so. I am declaring that for each of us. I'm declaring that for you as well as me, because we're one. Love generously. Like, no withhold, right? Like, can't you tell if you're in connection or relationship with someone when they're like holding back? Does that feel good? And most importantly, does that make you feel like you can trust them? No. So, be a demonstration. Be the open-hearted, open-souled being for them, because then you can be a mirror for them to mimic, and they can open up their heart to you fully. It makes for better friendships. It makes for better relationships overall. When you can speak heart to heart, be generous with your love, generous with what's really going on. Yeah. And it might not necessarily be things that you want to hear all the time, but because you love each other and you appreciate each other and you respect each other, you will receive the love. At least I want you to receive the love. I'm inviting you to. That's one of my favorite. I really love her voice. I love her voice. I love her voice. I gotta take my sip. Be generous with your water drinking. Okay. Now, I don't know how much everybody is supposed to drink, but I know we're supposed to drink more. So, and I didn't get a chance to drink all of my water earlier, so I got to do it here. It's really low. Okay, here it comes. One of my favorites. Being generous, you do get a better love. I love this remix. I love it. I mean, doesn't that intro just make you feel good, easy, you know, in harmony with all the beauty of life? I'm feeling generous with all my smiles. I had a meeting the other day, and one of the people commented on, right, you know, just like me and my big smiles. And I'm like, that means I like you. Because if I don't, I know we all know how to do those faces where it's like, you know, we're really in tune with somebody, and you know, we give them that big open hearted, and then when we're not trusting or we're feeling some kind of way, not safe, or we might hold back. And so it's the polite, but behind the eyes and the facial expression, there's nothing. Yeah. I'm seeking to drop that type of, you know, behavior and be more in my authentic self. And my authentic self, even if it's somebody who I I don't know, I don't care for, I still can relate to the humanity of them. I still can find that childlike, godlike essence, you know, that's worthy of a smile. That's something to consider, right? Something to consider. Being generous, you know, and that's the thing when I said feeling in a crunch, you know, you want to multiply your blessings. That's what, you know, be there for others. Do more, you know. You know, and I think of times in the past where I felt some kind of way, and it was like picking up and doing something for somebody else. Yeah, it really put it on my heart how loved I am, how good life is, that even with whatever I was doing my woe is me about, that I am blessed, that I do have something, you know. So how are you showing your generosity? Where are you expressing love? To your friends, your family, you know, to your partner, to your children. And your children might be especially nice these days because, you know, we're just 23 days away from, 23 days away from Christmas. See, somebody might have to, you know, make some gifts or whatever. Or you can buy them, you know, whatever you do, I don't judge. Because I have all types of talents, but depending on what it is that I'm making you, you might not want it. You know, I do know how to do a thing or two, but, you know, I was like telling myself, like, I do know how to cook. I just don't cook that often, you know. You know, but I do got my things I can do really well, you know, and I know somebody can say, I put my foot in them greens. Literally, no, just playing. You know, but each moment is an opportunity to start again. So this song, New Day, is a reminder, hey, if you feel like you haven't really been being generous, either to yourself or to others, you can decide right now. You can decide, you know, tomorrow, this week, I'm going to do a kind thing. I'm going to be more open to receiving, you know. I am going to maybe, you know, cook a meal for somebody else, you know, if that's something that's a call on your heart, you know, whatever the case may be. I have a plan, you know, that I'm going to do a random act of kindness or whatever. So if anybody wants to support me in that, just let me know. I'll take your donations. But yeah, that was something that came to me to do. Yeah. You know, because I've been really fortunate to be able to, you know, we had all types of stuff happening, you know, this year in St. Louis. And I've been blessed to be able, you know, to give from my own pocket and then be able to use, you know, other resources to give from their pockets to support issues, you know. And that's the thing. The generosity doesn't necessarily have to come out of your pocket. It can come from you writing a letter. It can come from you, you know, making the phone call. You understand what I'm saying? You know, and allowing those resources to come to you so then you can give them out to whoever is supposed to get them. I guess let me see. I remember when I was in my practitioner program, and when we did, I guess a section, a time, a lesson around, you know, abundance, one of the things that we had to do was give money to somebody, or, you know, basically put it where, you know, they could find it, whatever the case may be, you know. And you were allowed to decide, you know, how it was, but you couldn't let the person, know that it was you. And, and then a lot of us, we just kind of commented on what that felt like, and I remember the first time I did it. And it's weird. It was almost like pushing for somebody to get this money, get this money, find this money. But when the young man found it, there was just like this click, that like we're a cog, we're a chain. And, me being able to be benevolent or generous in that moment, how he was able to receive that. And if he wanted to, he could take that, and pay it forward, So Spirit is about us, allowing love to come through us, to be us as us, all day long, all day long. I love this song. Be generous. Now, generous with your food portions. Okay, we might want to dial it back a little bit, okay? No, you don't have to. Do whatever feels right for you, but, it's one soul to another. If it's not feeling good in your body, then maybe make another choice. Well, I'm about to roll out. I don't want to eat too big of a generous portion. Where is that space to be more kind, more loving in your world? Where is that space for more bounty, more bountifulness? Yeah. This is what I was talking about. When you think you don't have anything to give, whether it's time, money, energy, and it happens, that's spirit. That's absolutely spirit. I love this Let It See song. Yes, yes. Here it comes. Won't it do it? That's because spirit is generous with its love. Its love is always around. Its love is ever present. Yeah. Even the impossible is possible. Almost. Can't help it. Okay, I think that's yeah. I think that's it. So yeah. God's grace is absolutely generous. Yeah. We're living generously in every moment. Out loud, big, bold.
That would be nice to do that. Chris came in before, so Hoyt started to sing and he stayed by himself for a while. That would be nice to do that. Chris came in before, so Hoyt started to sing and he stayed by himself for a while. That would be nice to do that. Chris came in before, so Hoyt started to sing and he stayed by himself for a while.
I'm a little early, but I think I've said everything I need to say. I'm not gonna force it. Thank you so much for your energy. Thank you for your presence. And just remember, to live generously, love generously, out loud, full for what you believe in. Do things for yourself, for others, from a space of love, a space of knowing that you have more than enough to give, and you can receive infinitely all the good of God. Because it's already here for you.